Welcome to another episode of Odd Pairing. I am your host, Natasha, and I have another host with me today, and her name is
Paige.
Paige. We're going to get this intro down.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Because I'll be looking at you like, hey, Paige, this is your moment to speak, but never happens.
No.
So before we get started, we have with us today in the house from Grafted Cellars, we have Whitney and Ryan. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Welcome. So they are the owners, took over from Grafted Cellars. They are now the owners here in Vista, California. And where you guys have been the owners for 4 to 5 months now.
Yeah, pretty new owners.
Yeah. And so Grafted has been there for 2 years, you said?
Yep, more or less.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys have taken over that, and it is a winery and / tasting room. If you guys can ever get over to the location, it is great. It is a beautiful location, actually. I've been there. Actually, I was there before you guys stepped in.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I met you guys, I was like, yeah, I've been there before. But it wasn't you. That's why. I'm not saying that everybody look alike, but everybody look alike. So it is a location where people can come in and taste, and you guys have a winery there as well, which is pretty cool. And people can also come there to try out some of the flights that you guys have. And we'll kind of talk about the membership later and how me and Paige...
Newest member right here.
Right, and how me and Paige are now going to become members so that we can get these flights and these discounts. So they have come today to talk about what you guys have started, what you guys are going to continue, and how this journey is going to blossom. And I am excited to hear you guys' story. I've read a little bit about it. I cheated a litle, but I can't wait to our
it's not
listeners.
cheated. You just did research.
Yes,
research.
Yes, I sure did.
Which isn't creepy when you have a podcast.
Research. Right, exactly. Googling people, random people. So yeah, I am excited for our listeners to kind of hear who you guys are and your background and everything.
Yeah.
And before we get all the way started,
Fully started.
we like to do a cheers. So
Happy to cheers.
now that I know that you guys have only been owning it for a very short time, cheers to running this.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where's mine?
There it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you want me to talk about this wine as you're drinking it?
Please talk about it.
All right,
Yes.
so I wanted to start with one of our wines. So one of me and Ryan's wines that we came on board with, and then we integrated it into the Grafted Cellars brand. So this is actually our Shannon Blanc, which I thought was appropriate because our winemaker, Yaku, is South African, and the Shannon Blanc varietal is like a South African varietal, most likely. And a lot of people don't have a huge experience in this area in Southern California with this varietal. If you do see it, it's like a sweet, sweet white. But I think bringing it on as like a dry, and you have those brioche kind of pineapple-y notes to it, an easy drink, especially for the summer. And we released it in the summer too. I think was a great intro to like what we are going to be bringing to the table at Grafted.
Yeah.
So, and there's something funny with like white wines in general. It's like most people are red wine drinkers. I think even in the industry now, it's like 80% red wine to white wine drinkers. But one of our goals was that like, hey, I want to bring good white wines to the table and maybe convert some red wine drinkers to be like, hey, it's not all red wine. You can get some fantastic white wines. And I think this was a great example of something that I think is flexible across the zones. So a good first one to try.
Yeah, white has always been my go-to anyway. It was like my first intro into it and everything. And then anytime I had always thought about like red wines, I was like, ugh. What is this? Like, why is it so strong?
Yeah,
why is
heavy.
it? Why does it taste so heavy? And then my palate got more advanced and experienced, and now I lean more towards the reds. But definitely, first of all, I want to talk about the taste.
Yeah, how do you like that?
It tastes like candy.
Oh,
I love that. Absolutely.
With white, sometimes I get nervous, like you were saying about the sweetness.
Yeah.
And it's not.
no, it's 0% sugar.
Yeah.
It is a dry white, but it's funny, but it's psychologically because of those flavors in there, those notes. It tricks you into thinking it's sweeter than it is. But you're getting no sugar in that boy. So it's pretty
well,
solid.
look at me telling my friends. Look at us losing weight over the summer. And drinking, okay?
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, love that. So let's get into, as we sip away. Paige, would you like to introduce our word so that our listeners can also catch when someone isn't saying it or
Yes.
drinking.
So today our word is family. So anytime we talk about or say the word family.
Those two count.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it, Whitney.
Sure can. Whitney, I already love you already.
Yeah.
I follow the rules.
Usually
I follow the
she's
rules.
the one that's like,
Yeah. I usually throw it in there a couple of times.
Yeah, it's dangerous. We've got two of you.
Yeah.
It's going to get loose on this podcast.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
It sure is.
So, yeah.
So let's
That'll
go
be fun.
into, first of all, I think the reason why we also chose the word family is because a lot of our podcasts really, yes, please.
Oh,
Have a
wow.
little sip.
You are good at this game.
I'm about to ruin all of your days.
Yeah. No, you're not ruining mine.
Or
You
make
started
it
mine.
better. Make it better.
You started my day. So the reason why we chose that word is because with this podcast, bringing community together in terms of like just drinking, all types of, it doesn't matter if it's wine, if it's beer, if it's spirits, just kind of bringing that community around and talking about like how these particular things really incorporate into our like family history. In terms of like where it started, you're welcome. Where it started, where it's going, and how we're going to kind of continue that journey. Yeah,
For sure. A lot of sense. I mean, yeah, you're right. A lot of community, a lot of community events in general, like they revolve around alcohol. Hey, you're going to a party. Oh, we have Thanksgiving. Bring wine.
Yeah, what do you want me to bring?
Exactly.
Bring a
yeah.
bottle.
No, exactly. So it is very much oriented. And in general, like, we came from not Vista, in reality, we're coming from Los Angeles. So coming down here and having the opportunity and learning that how close Vista was as a community, like it really is like it's a big city, but it's a small world.
Yeah.
Like, everyone kind of knows each other. And we wanted to try to integrate ourselves into that as best as we could, knowing that we're not from this city.
Yeah.
It was an interesting journey. And I think the choices we made with our staff, the choices we made like with who we've been associating with, I think has been helping with that. But it's fun that like Vista has really welcomed us with open arms. And it's been really nice to see that feeling like, not that we're like foreigners or anything, but we're outsiders.
Well, you are from LA.
Yeah, right. It's a whole new world out there. But like, feeling like we came in as outsiders and then really being embraced by the community was such a fun thing to go through and really sweet to see.
Well,
in
there's
this area.
probably that element of the customers that Grafted had prior to you guys taking over, and then prior to that with the two planks,
exactly.
like that community that had developed at that location and being able to be
And that
integrated
helped.
in that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that helped. And it was the fact that I think wine in general kind of welcomes very friendly people, I like to think, and coming onto this business and having the wine club members that we had and the regulars that were already established in the winery really. They were the first ones that really helped us feel welcome because they instantly came in and they were happy to like meet us, happy to talk about us or talk to us, ask us about our lives and be non-judgmental. Not that we have something to judge, but it was really nice to see them like again, welcome us with open arms, and that's really helped. So I'm so glad
Was this before they started drinking or
the whole
that
time,
makes a difference.
the whole time, which is the best part.
Yeah.
Sober and slightly buzzed because only responsible drinking at Grafted Cellars.
That's right.
Exactly.
So it all worked out in the end, So it was nice to see us just be so welcome in a place that we didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
love
really
that for you
nice.
guys.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, Whitney. Since let's go ahead and start talking about your background personally, like how you got into this, where you started from, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to talk about myself a little bit, which is funny because I really never thought I would get into the wine industry in general. Like the way I was raised, so I have a Chinese mother. And so having a Chinese mother means that you have to go into 3 types of professionals, either a doctor, you're an engineer, or a lawyer. So I was
Predestined
I
or
was
predetermined?
predestined, right, to do these things. I wasn't very good at math. I did not like blood. And so I was like, okay, what's the last thing? Let me go into law. That's all I've got left, right? So when I went to undergrad, I worked at a law firm. I did all these internships and whatnot. And it was funny because during those internships, it was all of the lawyers that were like, don't do this. I'm still paying off my debt to this day. Like, if you don't love this law, don't be here. And I was like, I don't love this law. So I guess I won't be here. And so delivering those news back to my mom, she was like, oh, okay, well, then what? What are you going to do now?
There wasn't a fourth option.
No, there wasn't a fourth option. So, but in my mind.
Shame on our family.
Yeah, I know. I've dishonored.
there it is.
Dishonored. But then I was like, okay, what's the next best thing? I was like, okay, let's go business. MBA, that always looks good, right? It doesn't matter where it comes from. Getting an MBA is an amazing thing. So I actually got my first job, because, well, to apply to an MBA, essentially the story is that you have to have 2 years at least of experience in like a managerial position before you can even apply to a program, right? You can't just jump into like an MBA, at least where I was looking. So I actually got my first job in a manager position in the Finger Lakes at a winery out there. So it was just like, we knew someone who was like, yeah, I need help, come on out. So I was like, oh, perfect. I can get my 2-3 years done here at this winery and I can just go get my MBA. And so that was really my first introduction to like the wine industry in general, was in the Finger Lakes on Sonoma Lake, or not Sonoma, it's not Sonoma, Seneca Lake. And it was beautiful. It was wonderful. I had a great time. But the reality is like, dude, you hired an undergrad who didn't know what she was doing and had no training. And so, like...
You mean a great learning experience.
Yeah, so, like, great learning experience.
Come on,
I love the way Paige reframes everything. Yes.
Really learned from the ground up. And so, like, because I was in kind of a high-level position, like, I really got to have a touch of everything. I really learned a little bit of everything, like how to do administration, how to do, a little bit of production, et cetera, et cetera. And so, to be honest, because I didn't really know anything and our communication was spotty up there, I didn't have like the best time. So I loved the people I worked with and I loved all of that. But I realized, after my 3 years, I was happy to take a step back and just kind of, and my family was asking me to come back to help them with their businesses. And I was like, maybe it's time for me to go. So, unfortunately I left that, and I really left it pretty much assuming I was never going to return to that industry, because it was just kind of like a one and done. There was an end goal. I met the goal and now I'm going to go back.
Right.
And it wasn't really until, after I came home and kind of went through, helping my family members out and doing what they were doing, kind of being split between everything. Oh,
good job.
You're right. Yeah,
good
catch.
catch. I'm empty.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Well, that's a problem.
It is. That's a huge problem on this show.
There we go. So it was like, so I came home, did all that, worked with my family. At some point, I don't know if I'm going too far ahead. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Dang it.
I was into the story. I'm like, you sure was.
I'm listening.
So, yes. So, I don't know if I'm getting too far ahead, but at some point I meet him online. I meet Ryan here online dating, very cute, very modern. And then at that point, while we're dating, he had already had his brewery at that point. There was already the winery that was in existence. But there was this eventual plan that we wanted to divorce the winery from the brewery, because I guess they don't do very well in the same location, or because they were all sharing a space, sharing everything. And it turns out that's not too great for either or. Okay. So it was around that time when he was talking about, the logistics of moving it out into a different place, where it was kind of like, I actually have time and I have experience. Do you want help? I'd love to help you. I like working with him. I love him. So I was like, this could be fun, And so that's really what jumped me back into it. And it's so funny, like the things that you pick up from your experience that you think you're just going to forget. And like, you just, because you're like, I'm never going to do this again. I can just erase this from my memory.
Comes right back. Yeah.
So it was so fun to like jump back into it. And being in like an ownership position too, you have so much more like, I don't want to say ownership to it, right? It really, you want to do more. You want to go the, 120% to make it work.
Control.
Exactly, yeah, creative control. And like, I never realized how much of a factor that was for me, and how much more of a difference it made in like my workmanship, and like, and how much I wanted to go above and beyond. Because in my previous job, it's a job, it's a job, and you're paid like, you're fresh out of undergrad salary, and you're doing 20 things and you're not paid enough.
Right.
Exactly.
So, but it's different now, where it's like, I have full control. Right. And like what I put forward is what people are going to see. So I want to put my best foot forward. Right. And really,
well, it's a representation of who you are.
Exactly. It's like, and the last thing I want to do, especially because we're outsiders, is put a bad foot forward and then have people be like, oh, they're new owners and they're, I don't want to come
bring them back.
Exactly. You can't bring
them back. Once you lose them, you lost them.
Yeah. And so doing that and having that control and being able to really showcase what I can bring to the table has been an amazing opportunity that I don't think I would have been able to do if not in Grafted. So I have to appreciate him for opening that door into that world and being able to really, flourish in it. So it's been a neat journey. Not where I thought I'd be, but to be here now, it's extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I love hearing stories of people who went one way and then they end up finding their passion in such a different way. You
Oh, for sure.
For you to listen to the other lawyers and go, Wait, you guys are miserable here?
You hate your
Well,
life.
it's funny because
So I'm not going to do this?
the exact same experience as you with the attorney thing. So I became a paralegal, worked in a law firm for 2.5 years, had the same conversations with attorneys that were there. And they were like, I'm only here because I have so much debt, but I hate my job. And I was like, well, that is terrible.
Classic American tale.
I definitely don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And ended up going into beer because,
Don't you love
again,
it?
community. Yeah. And that was like drove me into that
Yeah.
space.
So I love that. And when you first said Finger Lakes, I laughed on the inside because I don't know if you guys seen that episode in The Office where Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
and he was like, I gotta get back
Lakes.
to the Finger Lakes. And when I thought of that, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna ruin it. But yeah.
No, yeah, anytime you hear Finger Lakes name drop, because we're like in Southern California, no one's really like,
I was going to be like,
Finger Lakes.
Where is that?
Yeah, so it's in upstate New York, but it's an amazing wine trail. Everyone sleeps on the Finger Lakes, but it's because we don't know, you know? But it's an amazing wine trail. One lake, it's like Seneca alone has like 100 wineries, all on the same highway.
Really?
So you can just go bang, 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 bang. You can't do that obviously because you'll die, but like, you know, but like you can just make a whole trip of it.
period of time.
Exactly, but like that kind of
2
like
or 3 days.
convenience. Yeah, that's right. 2-3 days, so you can get it all out.
Yeah, that
But,
sounds like my normal weekend.
No,
Go ahead.
exactly. And then to bring, and because I started the Finger Lakes and the fact that there's like a big emphasis on white wines, especially like the Riesling, that's why I wanted to bring like high quality white wines to here. Because like when you think Riesling, you think sweet automatically, right? But like because I started there, not to sound like pretentious, but like I have a high taste of Riesling. It comes in all forms and sweetness. And I want to bring like a solid, dry, you know, white wine here. So that was kind of part of the goal too. But to start there has been amazing. And now every time anyone will listen to me, I'll be like, go to the Finger Lakes, go to the Finger Lakes. You like wine, go to the Finger Lakes, you know? So it's been a whole thing.
Yeah.
They should pay me for branding. For marketing that.
You heard it here first.
Every time you say Finger Lakes, you should get.
Yeah.
I know, right? Honestly, a nickel for every time. I'm cheap.
Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to ask you guys just about that, like, you know, with us being odd pairing and you coming from the beer world and you being in the wine world, like what that experience is like. And if you could talk about Ogopogo and that development and all of that, I think that would be great.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean, it's been a wild, meandering road for sure.
Yeah.
So my previous profession, I was a baseball player, and when I was ready to retire from that, I didn't really know what to do. So I was hanging
They don't
out.
prepare you for things after.
They don't take
No,
class.
not
They don't give
so
athletes
much.
classes.
Give you a nice pat on the butt, and
They're like,
there you go.
it's not
Off you
working.
go.
You're done. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I was just trying to figure out what I was gonna do, and then I was in San Diego with my older brother, just doing home brewing, and we'd go to the breweries as well on the weekend. Like this seems really great. Like you said, community is really cool. You go to breweries, everyone's so friendly and open. People are just trying things, and the staff is really friendly and involved. I don't know, so many bartender experiences are not pleasant, but it seemed like every one of those were so nice.
Right. Yeah.
So that's basically how I got into that. So I started going to the UCSD Extension, the brewing certificate program.
Oh,
okay.
So I was there for 1.5 years, and then while I was doing the school, I worked at St. Archer. I kind of did all the things in St. Archer, and then I moved back up to LA, worked at Golden Road, just to get more experience, start working on my business plan, because I've always wanted to open a brewery since the beginning time, so that was always the goal.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to get the knowledge necessary for that. And then when I felt like I was in a good space and I was able to raise the funds enough, I was able to, open up Ogopogo Brewing. And it's about 4 years ago since doing that.
And you have a co-founder at Ogo. And did you guys meet at one of the breweries you worked at previously, or like how did that connection? And did you focus on production or?
We did. So we met at St. Archer. I think we both initially started in packaging, and then after a while we kind of moved out of that into like doing the lab management. So I was very interested in like the yeast and cell health and all that fun geeky stuff.
Like lab stuff.
Lab stuff.
Microscopes and quality, which is huge. You know?
Yeah, focusing on the quality. And that's kind of how I met Jason. He was the only person there that really like understood how important it was to be really detail oriented in the lab. So I was like, cool. You're
Like,
not my
you're my
lab
guy.
buddy.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic with the attention to detail. And then, we became friends in the lab, and that's how we kind of talked about the brewery, and we both had the same idea of what we wanted to do when we opened a brewery, which was a brew pub, which we ended up not doing.
Oh, the hospitality restaurant side of the.
So yeah, we went with just production brewery, which is what we've both done. So it made more sense to do that, and we've been doing it ever since.
So are you like the head brewer, or is that kind of Jason's thing, or how do you guys come up with recipes and?
Yeah, that's mostly
Development.
all him now.
Okay, and then your
Yeah.
side is.
Like a lot of administrative office things. So
Oh, fun! Like the more
fun
business side.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
the extra fun financial side
You
of
dole out the
things.
paychecks. That's the most important job.
Right.
The culture and community side.
Yes, there you go.
Again, positive spin. Come on,
I
guys.
love it.
Oh, there you go.
And then Whitney had mentioned that you guys were also trying to have a winery component, and that's what you were
Yeah.
able to kind of help her with. So, what was that experience like?
So my friend Yaku, I've known him for about 15 years now. He's from South Africa. That's where he got his wine degree. He went to university there for winemaking, then worked in France for a while, and then outside of like Napa area, Plymouth, and then he's traveled all over the world, going to different wineries and things. And he wanted to do a project here, and he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I make some wine at your brewery to do this?" I think it was an online class he wanted to offer. I was like, "Why don't you just make wine for us, and I can learn?"
Yeah,
Right.
learning experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we applied for the license. That was a whole headache, but we were able to get our Type 2 license in the same building, which was nice.
Did you have to get it like gated off and stuff, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had to show that
a physical.
at the very least.
Yes.
Physical barriers were
Yeah.
erected.
Yeah,
No,
the
I've
physical
seen those
barrier
like
was
chain link
there.
fences.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
yeah, then we just did that for our first harvest was 3 years ago. So yeah, we've been making wine on a very small scale since then. But the dynamic of the brewery and winery, I think, is pretty difficult, especially when we're already known as a brewery. People go to us for beer. So it was kind of hard to get people
I was
interested.
gonna say, I would have thought that it would have been like, you would have your beer drinker come in with a non-beer, like a wine drinker, and then you would have that, the option for both. And that
Yeah.
wasn't really the case.
It got there
Or kinda.
eventually, but not in the beginning. Yeah, I was thinking the
interesting.
same. That it'd be like, oh, you have a date, go to a brewery, then you have something for
accommodate
everybody.
them, yeah.
But-
Exactly. Instead of just drinking water.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like, this date sucks.
Right. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And so was the wine brand Ogopogo wine, or did you had said
it
kind
was
of
a
like
different
dissolved
brand.
the brand and kind of melded it into Grafted? Is that
Yeah, it was called Hartlem originally, which means like cherished one in Afrikaans.
Oh,
It was a
fun.
Ode to
Okay.
Yaku there.
Yeah.
Love that.
It was a great name. It really was. I felt bad that we had to essentially, dissolve it into Grafted, but it made sense, business wise at the time to do
Yeah.
it. But that's essentially like what this is. Like it was originally like a Heartland winery wine, and then we brought it into Grafted just to make things simpler to understand, right? And so there were about like 11 wines we brought on that we integrated into the brand.
Oh, cool.
And so at this point, next month they'll all be pretty much in there now. Really nice,
so.
yeah. So people can finally see, and now they can see like what we plan to offer and the quality they can expect running into the future, right? Which was the biggest thing. It's like, okay, we've got new owners, but is like their wine gonna be as good?
Right.
And so it's good to be like, yeah, actually, take a sip. It is
Right,
gonna be
right.
just as good. So it offers that confidence in us that I think was very important, right? To one, be friendly,
course.
but also be like, yo, we're gonna make a good product too. You can keep coming back.
Right.
So
Yeah,
And
we're
if they
good
keep tasting
winemakers.
this
Yeah.
one, they're definitely
No.
going to be in there.
Yeah.
no,
That's
exactly.
real
Yeah,
nice.
Yaku's an
Yeah.
amazing winemaker, and we're
Yeah.
happy he came with us. And, it's a great opportunity for everybody, for sure. Yeah.
And his focus is he loves doing whites and rosés, so
Yeah.
he's gonna be making a lot of nice ones.
That's true. Not that we'll have bad red wines. We're gonna have great red wines.
All right.
Still fantastic, but yes, like that's his focus for sure. And sustainability and making sure we have like really nice natural wines with no pesticides,
Yeah.
everything, no herbicides. So that's kind of our big focus. And I see like things trending in that direction anyways.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh,
why
yeah.
we only purchase from like sustainable farms, et cetera, et cetera. Mhm.
And that's what
Yeah.
the Shannon Blanc is. It's naturally fermented and unfined and unfiltered. So.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Glad you
It's
like it.
amazing.
That's
Yes.
what I want to hear.
Yes.
Elias, I got an idea. We're going to do a podcast. It's called Industry Insights.
That's what everybody's doing these days, like a podcast. But who are we going to target? What?
Well, this one is different because this one's going to target content creators.
Content creators? So that means film, television, animators, AI artists, everything, huh?
Yeah, all of them. We can inspire all of them. We'll bring some high caliber people in here. Not only will they learn how to get into the industry, but how to be successful.
But the thing is, sponsorship. We have to go after things, and how we're going to do that?
Yeah, the Film Hub. We're going to sponsor it. We'll do it right here at the Film Hub in downtown Vista. Yeah, we'll sponsor it too.
Great.
Yeah, we got the podcast studio right here. We got stages, whatever you want to use. We got it here. And right here in film-friendly Vista. Where else would you do it? And you know where they can listen to it?
Where? Tell me.
Go YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcast.
What about Metaverse?
Meta what?
Hello, friends. This is Joe Samo from the Samo Law Group. I am the host of Run It By My Lawyer. Over the years, I've had so many people that have had legal issues and legal questions and legal concerns. And I always, over the more than 20 years, I've been telling people, before you sign anything, before you do anything, if you have a problem, just run it by my lawyer, right? Just run it by me. And now I have a podcast doing just that. You can call me, you can email me, any questions you have. I love hearing from people and answering legal questions. And on our podcast, we've talked about everything from free speech, gun rights, anything you want to discuss, employment rights, everything. So you have an issue, run it by my lawyer and watch this podcast. You'll be entertained and you'll learn the law. Love to see you. You can find me anywhere, okay? YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever you want. And if you can't find me on some platform, let me know and I'll come find you.
So in terms of like you guys coming together, wait, let me back up just a second. Because as a person myself who is currently dating someone from offline, how did you guys go, this is definitely it. This is my person, okay?
Well,
so what made that? I know it came together sense-wise in terms of like, beer and wine, but how did it come together just, naturally?
Well, it's funny because we met on OkCupid. So OkCupid, shout out, but we also started dating like right before COVID hit. And so it was like the last, I think our first date was like the last in-person date. Yeah, it was then everything got shut down, right? So it was a lot of time to get to know one another, right? And I think the funniest thing was that after I knew he owned a brewery, I was like, dang it, and I got to fake liking his beer. But luckily,
then you found out that he made good beer.
Yeah, then he made good beer. I was like, oh, thank goodness. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I'm not a beer drinker.
I love that.
So I was kind of like, I'm not a beer drinker at the best of times. I'll drink a beer, but I prefer wine. So when I heard the beer, I was like, oh boy, okay. But luckily, he made great beer. And I was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to lie. Straight to his face. And so, but Ryan is charming. He was a great dude. Very sweet. Made me laugh, and he looks good. Yeah. Good looking dude. What was there not to love?
Aw, that's so sweet.
I don't know how gross I could be on the camera, but we clicked, and it was nice. And honestly, I had a great pandemic. Let me tell you. Let me just put it that way. We got shut down, and I just got to know this guy for a year, and I was like, this is great. This is the most one-on-one time you could get with any single person.
Yeah.
So that was really cool, to do that. I guess we got lucky in terms of the timing.
Yeah.
So thank goodness for that. Got that first date in, and it was all from there.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
My story is that for all the times I was dating on OkCupid, he was the only guy that got a second date.
Oh.
Yeah. A lot of first dates.
Wow.
No second dates.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Good for you.
Unfortunately.
That's a good record.
Yeah. Unfortunately for women on these sites.
It's rough out there, ladies. It's rough out there.
It's hella rough. Just like you, I found mine right before the pandemic as well, and we've been kicking it ever since.
Love it.
So I totally understand that because you have nothing but time.
Oh, yeah.
And like, because I was working from home too, it was just going, now I'm like at your place working from home. He's at my place working from home. It's like, it just went back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, and then before you knew it, he was like, yeah, this is forever thing. This is great, actually.
Yeah, this
pandemic was
fantastic.
not bad for us.
Yeah, not a bad pandemic. Sorry,
What's everyone complaining about?
Yeah, we
Give
had
me
a
that
great
again.
time.
Lock me down again.
It's fantastic.
It's like, you heard that news, lock me down again.
Right. We're like, we don't care. Yeah. So yeah, and going into not just the togetherness for you guys too, in terms of how you came together, you faked liking his beer until you really liked it.
So you make it.
And then, so now jointly, how is it as husband and wife working together? How is that in this industry?
I love it.
Okay.
Honestly, more time I get
All
to
right,
spend
Ryan,
with
come
her,
out the gate with a lie. Go ahead, Ryan.
Oh no.
He's like, she's right here. I love it.
Fantastic.
Right.
Never been happier.
Yeah, so how is that? Like,
No, I mean, honestly, it worked out perfectly because he does all the stuff I hate and I do all the stuff
Oh,
he
that's a
hates.
nice like
Perfect.
And that
Yeah,
just
that's awesome.
conveniently worked out that way. Like he
Perfect.
deals with like the licensing, the manufacturing. I deal with like admin, the paperwork, front of house, all the stuff he does not do.
Hospitality
Yeah,
and stuff. Yeah.
hospitality. Like I thrive there. He does not. But I also can't stand licensing and the bureaucracy.
Right.
And he's
Yeah.
got all the patience in the world for that.
Yeah.
So we didn't
attention
plan
to
it.
detail from your
Exactly,
experience
yeah.
in the lab.
Like
Yeah.
it really wasn't planned that way, and it just so happened to work out that way. And again, like he was saying, like the more time I get to spend with him, I love it.
Yeah.
Any excuse, you know. So no, it's been fantastic. Surprisingly, it's been fantastic. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected to be able to work this well with anybody, you know. But
that's awesome.
That's great.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Lucky.
very lucky for sure.
Yeah. And so like going forward for you guys, where do you see you guys growing? Like how do you see Grafted? Well, you know what? Let me back up. Let me back up 1 second. I actually want to know why you guys chose Vista. Why'd you guys decide? You know
Do we
what?
need to pour?
Oh
open
yeah, do you guys?
another-
I know we didn't say family.
Oh yeah.
There you
Did
go.
we
Oh,
say
yeah.
family?
Well, I just
just
did
did
it.
it.
Oh, now I'm gonna do it twice.
We
Oh,
don't
no.
want more than one.
And then we can do another one, right?
Yeah.
I think that's
Do the
about it.
Pinot Noir
I
next.
don't think I got you.
Okay.
You never got your second sip.
That's my third.
Oh, is that your third? Oh, okay.
It was not my second.
Okay, I know there's a little bit left, but we have tartrates at the bottom there, so
Yeah. And I don't.
it was kept in a fridge too cold, I think.
Yeah, I don't believe in alcohol abuse, so it's not a little waste.
You're right. Do you want
put
to
it
put?
right
Oh, should I
over
just put it in front here? Okay, there we go. Oh, that's right. We'll end up all in the front there. Cool. But we're gonna work with that one first, and then we'll come out the gate with this boy. But I'm sorry. What was the question? I forgot.
Why
Oh,
Vista?
Vista.
You already
Yeah.
told us
Oh,
how
that's right.
awesome Vista is.
Yeah.
But as a
Why?
Vista native, thank you.
But like, do you want to? You knew the origin.
Sure. So it just a very happy accident for Vista. So we found the ad, or Yaku actually found the ad to sell Grafted Cellars on winebusiness.com. And this was like just happened to coincide with the time that we were thinking of, doing a winery somewhere else. And I emailed the previous owner, Ray. He gave me the details. I'm like, well, this sounds way too good to be true.
Yeah.
It's got to be some like crazy toilet wine that no one wants to drink. But
Like, let me go down there and try it.
Yeah.
so basically, I talked to Ray. He's like, yeah, so if you want to come down and look at it, you can see it and see what you think. I was like, oh, great, no problem. I think it was a Tuesday. So I said, yeah, I can come down Friday. And he's like, do you really want to wait that long? I was like, oh, yeah, no problem. I'll just see you Friday. Hang up the phone and wait like about 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to call you back. So I called him back. I was like, I'll come down tomorrow. He's like, okay, that's a good idea.
No,
I thought about it.
No, it really was a great opportunity, and it did seem like too good to be true. Just like what they were asking for and what was coming with it. It was. We couldn't ignore the offer.
Right.
Let's put it like that. And so then like we both went down that Wednesday to meet them. Put on our best impression. Because like we're selling ourselves.
Right.
But it turned out like we were the first person they met. You were the last person they met because they love us so much.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
We brought
great.
a check down with us too.
oh yeah,
here,
be like
deposit.
deposit.
Wow.
That's how you started the conversation. So we're talking about buying this place, right?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
But But it was very much like that. I mean, they were wonderful people, and what they were asking for was really just what they put into it in like the year and a half they were there.
Okay.
And so you have to understand, like, oh, this is an affordable business. You're buying like a business that's already stable.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And for that to be like what was being offered at us, like, we can't ignore this. I know it's like an hour 40 from where we live, but we got to do it. You know, like that's it would be silly for us to.
And we
just
drove
ignore it.
around too. It was like, this neighborhood's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to Belching Beaver, I think, for dinner that night.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
something that
right
the
on
next
the
day. I was like,
corner,
cool, it's
yeah.
right up the
Exactly.
street too.
Exactly.
This place
Yeah.
is great. It was-
So that's really how we ended up in Vista, was just like a happy accident with seeing the listing and then literally just seeing it the next day and just locking it in. Like that deal was quick.
Yeah.
But it's really just one of those moments where you're like, you can't ignore that. You
Right.
know, it felt like destiny.
It's like hitting you in the
Yeah.
face.
yeah, exactly. I mean, slapped in the face of an opportunity. It'd be silly to not take it, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I'm
we-
big on alignment. So anything, when you have an opportunity like that and it came for you guys, then if it felt right in that moment, like Ryan said, I hung up and I was like, you know what, matter of fact, I'm gonna call you back.
I don't need
I
to
changed my mind. I'm coming tomorrow.
We gotta do this now.
It's that feeling that we have when something aligns with us. It almost bugs you to not like jump on it in that moment.
Exactly.
So-
And the timing was perfect in many ways, where it was like, one, we were
ready,
already,
yeah.
we were ready. We were already like looking for locations for our tasting room to remove the winery into, right, to move it into. And we had the funding lined up. So it was like literally just a matter of where was the place
Where it
where
was
we're going to
gonna go.
find it. And
Yeah.
Grafted showed up. We're like, this is it, dude.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we got to get in here.
How's the commute? Like,
It's
what's
great.
how does that work?
It's not too bad. I mean, it's an hour and a half, but it's
A good
just
time
down
to listen
the
to a podcast.
15. Exactly.
Exactly. It's
I
great.
listen to a lot of podcasts.
Listen to a lot of true crime.
Right.
Back and forth. You know, and that's the thing too, is like in the moment, again, the previous owner's super generous. Like they let us kind of like squat on like an RV pad in their backyard. We had like a little trailer RV that we stayed in.
awesome.
So we would stay the
that
whole
is
weekend.
awesome.
Yeah, I can't like thank them enough. They really were
Wonderful people.
such wonderful
yeah.
people. So like that made it so much easier because we could just come down, stay for the weekend, and then head back up. Right. Unfortunately, their whole goal was that they wanted to retire and then like travel the world. So they eventually sold their house. We got booted off like the squatters we were.
Yeah.
You know. And so then we made it. But at that point, we had established ourselves, and we didn't have to be here every single day. You know, we had staff at that moment. Like we could come like the 2 days or so, like the busiest days, and call it good. So that's kind of where we are now in terms of like that commute. But it's not rough. You know, it's not like we come in rush hour anyways. So you get to make our own hours, show up whenever, and just deal with the 5 or the 15, whatever suits our fancy.
Small
Yeah.
price to pay for a business
Yeah,
that was
honestly.
already running.
Small
So
price.
after,
Right.
Yeah.
after building my own brewery from the ground up, I was like, oh my God, I really don't want to do that
just
again.
Yeah.
time saved and build out.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good year and a half at least. Plus, like you have to wait a while for wine too, so that's another year or two
Yep.
where you're not selling
Right.
anything. So
Exactly.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
That is. What was the question that you had? Because I heard you was like gearing up on a question before I asked why they
Wrapping
did
up.
the Vista.
About the commute?
No.
I
Didn't
don't
you have
know.
a question before that? Oh, it's gone? Okay.
It might come back. I don't know.
Can I have a little bit of this?
Yeah. So we're actually.
That's what it was.
What was it?
Let's do the second bottle.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So now we're going back in time. I'm gonna get you some more than this. What am I doing here? So historically, you know, Grafted Cellars has only existed as a brand for about 2 years now, right? But previous to that, it was Two Plank Vineyards, and Two Plank Vineyards had been there for about 10 years. Before that was Indian Joe's, you know, rip Indian Joe's, but now it was Two Planks, and then now we're where we are. So because it's a winery, you know, it's not like a bakery. You can't like sell expired goods because wine lasts forever, you know, it lasts years. So when they took on Grafted, obviously they inherited all of the wine. That was made during Two Planks era. So this is kind of, we're still working through it now, right? Where this is going to be your 2017 Reserve Pinot. What was nice with Two Planks and the previous owners is that they had an existing vineyard. So they had like estate wines that they could do. So I think this isn't one of them. So, but this is from Willamette Valley. They had a great relationship with someone in Willamette. And it's a reason why we have so much Pinot. We have so much Pinot because they just got everything from Willamette, trucked it down, and now we have like Pinot 7 ways. So, but it's fantastic Pinot. But yeah, it's a dry red. You think, the usual Pinot Noir notes. You got them plums, berries, cherries.
Oh yeah.
An easy finish, not too dry. But overall, a solid table wine. So like I mentioned, even now we're working through like maybe 6 wines that are technically from Two Planks era. But as time goes on, hopefully we can sell out and make it more grafted. But I thought it'd be fun to show you like the evolution.
Yeah.
Where we started, where we're going, So we went all the way front, all the way to the back, and then we'll meet in the middle where we talk about, the Ray and Melly era, the previous owners. But we'll end on that note.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We got a lot of work to do before we get there.
Right.
But yeah. Need to see the history.
When I taste this one, immediately brie cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have it.
That'd be good.
Gotta have it with it.
Honestly.
Yeah, immediately.
Who dropped the ball on the cheese?
Yeah, who was the cheese guy?
We gotta get one. We gotta get this one.
do need to get one.
Yeah, we gotta get one. So when we have wine, we have a cheese come in, and then it'll be the whole thing. Yeah.
For a good pairing.
Right.
An odd pairing.
At that point, we have to dim the lights. I gotta have a robe on.
Light a candle.
Yeah.
There you go.
It has to
Ready.
be like a whole thing at that point.
It's a whole experience.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So let's go into like what you guys have next. Like, where do you see? Let's start. Where do you see you guys growing?
Yeah.
Like, how is that look to you guys? And then kind of like go into what's next.
For sure.
Yeah.
Distribution at this point. Yeah. I mean, that's where unfortunately, like previously the ownership couldn't do that because it was COVID, right? So like this was all, they built their business like during COVID time, like deep in that.
Hard. Yeah.
So, everything was shut down. It was really just tasting room only, which made sense because you couldn't do anything else. So now that we've finally, integrated our wines, pretty much stabilized what the whole facility is going to look like, now we can focus on like, okay, accounts. Right, because it's great to have a successful tasting room, but you need more than that if you want to grow. Yeah. So where we're at now is just essentially, just getting accounts, getting into, liquor and wine stores, getting into restaurants, being able to find grafted, after hours, like when you need us, you can find us, and you can have us with a restaurant, and having like local representation, I think, in the area.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there like a strategy around that, like kind of hitting regional, local restaurants first, like Vista and like North County, and then kind of
micro for local, 100%
hyper local,
hyper local, and then hopefully growing out from there. Yeah, but that's definitely a process.
Focusing on wine club too is important to us because, like you said, the community family aspect is.
There it is. You knew you were going to say that. You grabbed your wine glass before you even said the word.
Thirsty.
Exactly. My throat was a little dry. Thank you, Ryan.
But that's what has made it so unexpectedly wonderful is getting all the regulars that come in. We do our best to learn everybody's names. So
I love that.
Like, hey,
come on,
hey,
community.
Richard.
Yes.
Good to see you again. Come on.
Yeah, I love that.
That's great.
And our tasting room employees do a really good job of doing the same too.
Yeah.
So they've started getting like really good relationships with everyone as well.
Yeah, the times I've come in, your staff has been so warm and so welcoming. It's been like really enjoyable.
Oh, good.
No, we want that the family feel. That's important because they made us feel that way, and we do have to pay it forward to them. So like the focus was always going to be the wine club first, and then distribution second, obviously. But because they made us, we have to make them and make sure we prioritize them always. And that's
I'm
why
glad I'm a member.
Yeah, no, okay, you're special now. You get that special treatment, right?
But excited to be a part of the family.
No, for sure, and that was and that was the focus from the start. Maybe it wasn't the focus in the very beginning when we first came on, but when we realized, dude, this really is the make or break when it comes to wine club. We gotta put all of our oars in that boat, I suppose you could say. So, and they've been nothing but giving back to us. They're always sweet. Sometimes they bring in food to us. It's like
Love that.
I'm just like, oh my goodness, they'll bring stuff for us. I'm like, I haven't had that treatment before.
Go ahead, pour me
It's
some.
fun to be in hospitality and know you're doing such a good job that people are happy to give back, or name drop you, or like think of you before anyone else. And so I haven't been in an industry, not quite to that level before. And so it's like, this is so heartwarming. I love it. Thank you, Vista. That's amazing.
And I think that that's a main purpose too for us like doing this is not only do I enjoy adult beverages, of course, who doesn't? Okay, but I also like that I'm learning about different people's businesses that are local because I have so many friends and family that come in from out of town and they want to have a spot. They want to take me somewhere, let's go somewhere and do these particular things. And I love that, especially with like a place like you guys where there's a tasting room, if we want to just grab a drink before like going somewhere else or any of those like other things, it's easier for me to know like who you are because now I'm going in there with some pool. Let me just take you. I think, what's the name? Oh yeah, Ryan and Whitney are there. So let's just go in and just taste a little bit of their wine, and having that, because that's what actually builds a community.
Connection.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It builds it out even more. So when they come and I'm busy, guess where they're going? To Grafted. They now can say, oh, I'm going to just stop by. Just meet me at Grafted when you get off. I'll see you there. Like having those type of, I love this, of how all of this and people just have these rooms is just community based.
No, exactly, for sure.
That's my main thing. It's like all about community based. Because me coming from other places, now trying to establish, I feel that same way of like trying to come in and like establish like, oh, I need to know like people, different people. And now that I'm getting to know, and now I can actually vouch and also get other people to know. Because me and my girlfriends, we meet a lot together. And we try to meet different places, like not the same places all the time. So having that extension and knowing that there's different places and knowing the people who actually, and they also listen to the podcast. So knowing that now they're like, oh, if Natasha is saying that these people are great, we definitely going to be in here. So I love that you guys have that warming environment and these memberships. Come on.
Yeah.
Like memberships is what keeps people coming in.
Yeah,
okay?
That's true.
Well, you do events too. Like you have the succulent workshops and paint nights.
Yes,
and
we got the paint nights.
Right?
Everything. Any excuse that people can come and see us that maybe aren't there initially for the wine. They come to have fun and then they discover the wine and they're like, oh, dang, like this place has actually got a solid beverage I can enjoy. I want to come again when it's not me like painting something on a canvas, like that was a huge thing just to bring in new people because we are a little off the, we're not off the beaten path necessarily, but you don't see us right off the road. It's like if you're not seeking us, you don't find us.
Right.
So how do we get in those potential customers that aren't like looking for like, Googling wineries near me,
Right.
Well,
Or
like,
wineries in Vista, which
wineries
people are
in Vista.
probably not Googling very often.
Yeah.
Not so often.
So it's like, so paint nights, craft nights, we're going to have pasta making nights. We're going to have mimosas and yogas coming out soon.
I love
So
that.
we've got a lot of events we're belting out. And like that was the other thing that we're going to do more now, which is like events on site. Where we didn't have, again, we were stabilizing with everything and the merging of these two places. Now where it's like, okay, we're golden, we can distribute, we can do events. Because that's what really it's about. It's one, being fun, and one, two, getting new people that come in here.
I was going to say, creating and cultivating the community.
Exactly, and giving back to the community too, which is the thing. Like, being, hosting these little league, teams, or being there to like give donations to these sports teams. And paying for jerseys and what have you. Like that's a great thing that I didn't think in my brain, like, we have a great team, tasting room manager, Carrie. I love her. But she's like
Shout
a
out to
local.
Carrie.
Born and raised.
Well, she also was at Belching Beaver.
Yeah, and she was at Belching Beaver. But
so shout out.
But we were super lucky to find her when we did.
Yeah,
and she's been
fantastic.
such a boon. Like just what she provides and being a local, from birth and being there to like recommend certain things for us was a huge help. Which was like, okay, like what would endear us more to the community? And she'd be like, this, and this. But like, we're doing it. Do it. Here's the credit card. Go.
That's smart. That's smart having someone who's already know the local.
No, exactly. And again, that was pure luck. Like we sent out the list.
We have people come every week that's like, oh my God, Carrie.
Oh my God, just to see her. I'm like, my goodness, I love it.
Yeah, she's great.
She's part of the community. And I think that was a huge help for us just to find someone who is like entrenched in the community, has been a part of it, and have her bridge the gaps that we can't necessarily bridge because we're still a little bit outsiders, right? So that's been amazing. We've honestly gotten so lucky in like just staffing
I was about to say, do y'all gamble or not?
I know, I'm terrible gamblers.
Maybe that's why we're so bad at gambling.
That's
It's
it.
transferred
Like,
in
all
other
of
ways.
this, like,
Your luck is all in
blessings
business,
and-
which
No luck in the money-making things in gambling, but all the good luck in terms of, these choices and just what we've fallen into, right? So, but
I love this for you guys.
No,
Yeah.
and we've been so grateful. And I think that's part of it too. It's like, we want to give back to that. It's like rewarding people who do mean a lot to us and,
Yes.
and we value.
Yeah.
Because I think, being through what we've been through, and I'm sure we can all, count to this, is like, like being millennials or so, like we've gotten our first jobs and we were, underpaid, right? Overworked, underpaid, and we were treated a certain way where that me as an employer now, it's like, I never want to treat my employees the way I was treated.
Yeah.
It's like, in reality, my first priority is my employees. Like, that's it. Like, I need to take care of them because the reality is, like, I'm here to help them live. I want good work-life balance. I want them to be paid well for what they do. Like, I want them to feel that they're valued because I was not valued, and it's, and to do that, I think makes a huge difference where it's like, I want to be a part of the community, but I also want to put into the community, make sure the people that I, employ in the community can thrive. Or else if I'm not doing that, I'm not a good employer because I've been hired by bad employers and I don't want to be that person. It's painful.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And when I think about, because when I look at being someone who's in the mental health field myself, millennials, we have really grasped mental health all the way around.
for
like
sure.
even in who we work for.
Yeah.
Right? We don't want to be anywhere where no one is making our mental health bad or down or any of those type of things.
No.
So to hear that you're like, no, I want this to be a great
priority.
environment for even my staff is so great to hear.
No, that's it. That's the point. You know what I mean? Like if we're a business that has to eat into the quality of life of our employees, we're a failing business. That's the reality. Like if I can't provide that and still make a living, then I've failed, right? Like that has to come first because the reality is if you treat your employees well and you treat your staff well, they'll do well by you,
Sure
right?
will.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it makes no sense to step all over the people that run our business, essentially.
Whitney, you speaking my language.
It's just like it's like we have our own traumas, our employment traumas, and it's like I won't put someone else through that. It's not worth it, and it's just like you can see, and even now she gives back to us in every way. You know what I mean?
that.
So it's like, girl, you want to go out do a concert? Go. I'll cover you. You want to do this thing? Good. I'll cover you, and then she'll give back 5 times as much.
Yeah.
So and I appreciate
it goes
that.
back.
Yeah,
It's
it comes
just that
back.
it's the circle of like you scratch my back, I scratch
Yeah,
yours.
exactly.
Well, it's also just being seen as a human being.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
just like
Just that
human
element of like
consideration.
you're a human being
Yeah.
and have
You have a life
wants
outside
and
this.
values and
Exactly.
lives outside of work. And so if your employer recognizes that, you're like, oh, they recognize me as a person, not just somebody
Right.
You
who
are a
helps them.
human.
Yeah, that helps them have a successful business. And people can
exactly.
see right through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was huge for me. And then, of course, the customers as well and the community as well. But like that was always first. Where it's like, don't mess with my employees, my dude. I will come out there.
Yeah.
I will fight.
Right.
Call the cops. I don't care.
Right. Where's your manager? I am the manager. Duh.
That's it. We're throwing
I'm
down.
standing
That's
right
it.
here.
What
Yeah.
did you say to her?
Yeah, yeah.
But luckily, what's nice about the winery, like the wine community in general, is not so brutish, which is good.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like with the beer industry, it's very
right. It's a
different.
whole
Where
different
it's
animal.
very male dominated, and so even as a woman in the beer industry, it can be very challenging for me to sometimes even be like share a perspective and like, well, you're a lady, and it's just like, where it's kind of where I was gonna ask, is that something that you've faced as a woman business, business owner?
What's
in the
lucky,
wine industry.
What's lucky is that I came into this industry post all of that. Because do you remember that big blow up during COVID where it was like kind of like the brewery Me Too sort of thing? And it was
Very familiar.
The drama was juicy, dude. It was juicy. All that came out.
Nasty.
Yeah, it was
Nasty.
nasty.
Yes.
So luckily I came in post that. So I didn't really deal with it. And when I was working the Finger Lakes too, it wasn't really something that came up. Luckily, maybe I got lucky in that sense. But at least now, like, it really isn't something we run into. One, because, the winery industry is pretty, like, more upscale, I would say. Not that beer is like,
What?
bleh, gross. You know what I mean? But
Ryan, come on. Where's your defense?
I don't know if this is controversial.
Whitney.
Maybe it's controversial.
Whitney,
but
I understand.
Oh, stop it.
Look, as you can see, I am a connoisseur.
That makes
yeah, dude, that's it. We're playing at a
Connoisseur
different
myself.
level.
Yeah,
okay?
it's just
Ryan.
We attract a different sort.
It's just a different type of people. It's just, you know.
Ryan and I are laughing you guys off.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's all right.
All right.
But no, it's like, you know, we got very lucky in terms of like, we haven't really dealt with anyone being messy or having to like call the cops. Like it's never come up, you know, knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't come up.
Yeah.
But it's been nice that we, you know, it's another thing we get to be grateful for.
Yeah.
You know, and we're really blessed in that way that we don't have to, you know, constantly like, you know, white knuckle the counter when someone comes in and we're like, oh God, here's this guy again.
Yeah.
You know, buckle up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's what it seems like. Vista's kind of that place where you just have a lot of just normal, real people that are just
Thank you, Vista,
regular,
for being normal.
I love that
regular
you said
families.
normal,
Everybody drinks.
regular people.
San Diego beer lovers, come join us on the Pioneer Beer Trail, a free, narrated tour of 4 of Vista's iconic craft brewers, all from the convenience of your phone. Simply download the free show at vistamadetours.com or find Vista Made Tours on your favorite podcast provider like Spotify or iTunes. Then fire up the show and you'll hear fascinating backstories, beer favorites, and food recommendations from the brewers themselves as you travel from spot to spot. It's free, fun, and the easiest way to learn about some of Vista's originals, including Booze Brothers, Belching Beaver 980, Aztec, and 5 Suits. So come travel the Pioneer Beer Trail at vistamadetours.com or from wherever you find your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Rachel Belt, President and CEO of the Vista Chamber of Commerce. Over the last 20 years, I've had the privilege of living and working in Vista, and I've met some amazing people with amazing stories. And I'm thrilled to bring them to you as part of Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast, where I interview the movers, shakers, and change makers impacting the Vista community and beyond. I hope you'll join me as we journey together to hear the stories of the people doing amazing things for our town. Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. Find us anywhere you get your podcasts.
I'm going to say, again, as a Vista native, thank you.
No, thank you, Vista.
Right,
Thank you. You really made this not painful.
I've heard people be like people from Vista like love being from Vista, and I was like, yeah, I do. And they're like, I don't know why. It's so weird that you're like so like into being from Vista and like support it. And I'm like, I don't know. I just am. Whatever.
It's a big, small community, which is so
It's a
interesting.
good place.
Yeah, it is a great place.
You can see
honestly.
why people are proud.
Yeah.
Should
No,
be.
people still ask like, when are we moving here? And I'm like, dude, I can't.
Yeah.
We just bought a house
We
10 months
just
ago.
bought our house.
Oh yeah,
We
you have to be
can't
like,
do
we
this
have
again.
1 year and 2 months until we can.
No, exactly. Once you say that, everyone's like, oh, okay, I get it. But like, dude, I can't. I literally got out of
You're
that
like,
bloodbath.
or
I can't
until
re-enter
the
it.
interest rates go
Right.
down again.
Yeah, exactly.
Or-
And I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just the one thing. I do feel bad where it's like, I'm sorry, like we're locked in where we are and we got to deal with the commute. But again, like we're trying to establish a solid foundation of like, a very community friendly, people friendly, customer friendly, family friendly, place.
Yes.
And I think once we do that, like once you set the roots in, that's what matters. Like once the solid roots are established, you can just grow from there and you can flourish from there. So that's the master plan.
But you also have a location that's
Yes.
coming up, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the plan anyways.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so
In the licensing permitting phase.
Yes, my favorite time of dealing with the ABC and TTB and health department. What other letters can I
Agency
say?
or acronyms.
no,
CDTFA, I'm sure they're in there.
Yeah, everything. No, and that was the thing, like, because we live in Claremont, the RE, not the IR, not the one that's right here. So the one that's like
In LA.
the LA county edge of the county line. That's where we live, and so the plan was always to have a tasting room there. Like when we were first looking, it was like, cool, it'd be great to have a place that's just near where we live, because that's the dream. Like you commute 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, and because of the opportunity that we were given and presented by getting Grafted Cellars, we were essentially 2 to 3 years ahead of like what a normal business would be.
Yeah,
And it's
'cause
like
you
we're
didn't have to
actually
build it.
we're actually primed to open a second tasting room location. So it's like, oh cool, like let's do it
That's
in
cool.
Claremont because we live right there. you
Right,
know?
right.
And
It's a
finally,
new market and all that.
Yeah.
what's so funny, and I don't
Business
know
mind.
why, there is no winery tasting room within like 20 miles of that whole area. I don't know why that is, but there isn't one. Like there's wine bars, there's restaurants that have a big wine menu, but there's no like winery tasting room. So I was like, dude, what could be better? We finally finally a listing opened up that really fit what we were looking for. So we're like, we got to jump on this. Like, let's just secure it now. And now like we got it. We're on the lease. You know, the posting is up, and it's just like the build out now. Right, but unfortunately, it's also harvest season.
The process that you didn't have to go through
Yeah, so like, you know,
do it now.
so we're busy. We're really busy right now, and also we got to build out this tasting room. But I think once it's opened up, and we're aiming for like fall of this year, like it's just going to be another opportunity to showcase our wines and to have like a local winery. Because again, don't know why, but there's no wine tasting room, no winery.
They don't want to deal with the county of LA.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's LA County.
Yeah.
I don't know what
The
it
health
is, but even
department
San
is
Bernardino,
challenging.
nothing.
Yeah.
Do nothing. It's like a dead zone. So,
Well,
I
thankfully
thought,
you have Ryan, who's a pro at this.
my man,
Yeah.
you're there.
Very
That's
good
why
at
you
standing
waiting
in
on
line.
paperwork to
No,
go
exactly.
through.
No, he is like literally like right now. We're patiently waiting on like plans. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Just to like, because I get permits to build anything.
Very good at putting on a dumb face and be like, oh, well, could you explain that? Like, could you, like, why can't I do that?
Yeah, right.
Why
You've
can't I do
learned.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, but it's my first business.
Right.
It's my first winery tasting room.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just my wife and I. It's a very small family business.
Oh. You got it.
Well, we do drinking stories.
Yeah. So now we are.
So we're ready for
At
your
that point now.
drinking stories.
and it can be a drinking story that is outlandish. Those are my favorite.
Those are really fun to share.
Or it can be something that like really brung, you to the life of advanced drinking.
Advanced drinking, huh? I've been an advanced drinker for years now. No, but
You're so young.
I know. The lines on my face tell a story, right? So, I mean, when I was thinking about this, because it was something you had to think about, because there are so many drinking stories, right?
Yeah.
And so we really had to separate, like,
I got 12 on the ready right now.
yeah, right. So, I was like, we have the inappropriate ones, like the R-rated. Let's not do those ones. And we also have
The
like
ones that make you nervous.
yeah, the ones that make you nervous, and the ones that are like gross. And I was like, I don't want to do that either. So like, I'll do mine first because mine's cuter and his is actually more funny. But so this was like during within the first year that we were dating, and we actually wanted to make a big trip. We wanted to go to Hawaii. And so we did that. We had a whole trip to go to Maui, and it was beautiful. And because it was during COVID, it was like empty. Like Maui still wasn't that busy. And we flew in like the late afternoon, evening. And by the time we got to like our hotel, we were like, let's go walk along the beach, because it was right along the beach. It was like the sunset. This was like February, so like there were whales in the ocean.
Wow,
You could like
cool.
literally stick your ear in the water, and you hear.
Oh, no.
Like it was wild, and
Really?
it was crazy.
I
Like
need
you could
to
hear
go
them
to
singing down
Hawaii.
there. Yeah, but I guess like February was like their mating season or whatever, so you can just go in and go bloop, and you're like, ooh. Like look at them down there.
Love it.
Probably his cat
Love
calling
it.
down there in the water, like, where you at?
Where you going?
Where you going, babe?
Not the well flirting.
I see you. I hear you, girl. I'm coming.
Right.
So it was like, essentially we just sat on the beach and we had like these like bottled cocktails, I would say, because like every little like
it
convenience
canned?
store. Yeah, no, it wasn't a can.
Yeah,
it was like
no
a bottle. We were classier than that. We got like
Hawaii,
bottles.
they do their cocktails in the
I mean, she's a wine drinker.
I'm
so,
a wine drinker.
Yeah.
I don't
drink things out of
I
cans.
pass, So it was like, so we were like sitting on the water and we were essentially just chugging bottle cocktails. And it was beautiful. And I'm like getting semi-drunk and I'm like, this is fantastic. Let's stay forever. and like even to this day, like I don't think I can go back to Hawaii because it'll never be like COVID empty again, knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like we have to always, so that just sticks in my brain is like, there's like rainbows and there's the sunset and we're sitting on the sand, and we're drunk within our first 2 hours of being in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And
you're
it
like,
was just,
this is a dream.
this is it, dude. It was like, snapshot. And it was like, that's it. This is romance, bro. We can't get better than that. And it's been downhill ever since. Just kidding. No, but
anytime you go back to Hawaii, you'll be like, remember that time?
Yeah. Remember we told me it was way better? So like
Can never go back.
Yeah, you'll never go back now. But like that's what I think. It was just like it was such a sweet memory. And I don't have many like drinking sweet memories. It's like me making out and throwing up in someone's mouth or something. Like I don't want to do that,
Love it.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
God, that wasn't me.
Don't worry about it. So it's like that's not cute. So
You know what, Whitney? We gotta have you back just for that story.
Yeah. We'll have you back to that, Ryan.
Just for that story.
great flavors were exchanged that day. So it was like I wanted to preserve that because it was such a beautiful snapshot and like it just really showcased like relationships, so beautiful. Whales and rainbows and drunk on the sand,
I love that.
And so that was my drinking story. Yeah,
I want that experience.
I know.
We should all have that experience. My
that's a
God,
good one to
that's the
have.
one. I want to give that to every woman.
Right.
Have it, give it all. Right. So
beautiful.
So that's my cute and sweet drinking story.
Yeah, I
No
love
one
that.
threw up on anybody. It was a great everything.
That's
Throw up the whole
Yeah,
time.
no. Happy end. No one vommed on anyone else. Gotta appreciate it. That's it. Yeah, yours is better. Yours is funny.
All right, Ryan.
Sure, okay.
Top that, babe.
It's hard to decide. It has this hazy drinking stories, but there's one I thought of. So when I was back in my baseball playing days, I was with the Kinston Indians in North Carolina, which is a high A team in the minor leagues, and they have a tradition there. Sorry, at the end of the year, we go to Myrtle Beach to play. I think it was a Braves team, but yeah. So we go to Myrtle Beach.
Another team.
Yeah, another
Yes.
baseball team. Yeah. And the tradition that the Indians has at the end of the year, the last series we play in Myrtle Beach, you put everybody's name in a hat and then you take a name out of the hat. And then it's your job to dress that person for the night.
Ooh. Dress them?
So you can dress them however you want.
Oh, gosh. Where's the wardrobe coming from?
Wherever you want it to.
Oh, okay.
So Goodwill is always a good.
I was going to say, how much time was there to like plan?
Yeah. And then after the game, everybody gets their outfits and we all go out on the town to where there are a lot of slushies with way too much alcohol in them.
A little familiar with Myrtle Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Story there.
So, yeah.
No, there isn't.
I'll pull it out of her, Whitney. Don't you worry about it.
So the person that had my name, they dressed me in these ridiculous, gigantic jeans, like a size 50, which is a size 32. So these ridiculous clown pants on
Swimming.
me. Yeah, I had one of those like tight necklaces as well.
Oh, like a puka shell necklace?
Yeah, puka shell necklace. Tight Hawaiian shirt that was missing the top 3 buttons. Went above my belly button. I was like, well.
I was going to say you were like rocking the Luke Voigt before Luke Voigt.
Oh, yeah. It was a good look for me. I felt pretty confident that night.
Oh, my God. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is.
So how did the night go?
Oh, it was really fun, actually. It was a great time because everybody from the clubhouse, you just walk over pretty much to the like downtown scene. So everybody gets their ridiculous slushies. And I was just hammered. I was having a great time in the clubs. I was dancing on everybody. But
Fun.
I got home
Not
somehow.
vomiting, dancing. That's good.
I don't actually think I threw up that night. I did get poked in the eye. I had a red eye for like a week and a half.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
By what with you were poked?
A wayward finger.
Wayward finger.
You gotta watch out for those ladies.
Yeah.
They're dangerous.
You never know when a finger's going to come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. She got me good. But,
Oh my gosh, that's
fun.
hilarious.
So that was a fun night.
That's amazing. I love that.
There's some amazing outfits. I couldn't get the picture. I wish I could have brought
I was
it.
gonna say, like,
As I'm like thinking about it, I was like, man, I got to do this with my friends.
That's super fun.
Totally do this.
That's really
that's
clever.
really
That would have been neat.
Yeah, very.
Jeez.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Well, we have one more.
What is it?
One more bottle.
Oh, that's right. Oh Lord.
Yeah.
You wanna
Oh, of course.
Well, at
give
least
it
we
a
can
whirl?
all taste it and we can talk about it and then we can kind of
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Go through
You're
it.
okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
please.
here's this.
It's been aerating, so we can't just like leave it.
Perfect. Yeah.
So this one, this is our 2018 Cab Sauv. And what's cool about this one is this really came local, where it was like, I think right out of Fallbrook. It was one of our Custom Crush customers. Custom Crush meaning like, hey, you're a private citizen, you have a vineyard on your land, and you obviously don't have like the processing manufacturing facility for it. Like, what do you do? Like, I'm growing grapes. What do I do with my grapes? I want to make wine because clout.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
I was always curious about that.
Yeah.
Just like, because Vista's kind of has rural areas, like you drive through and you see people with
like little acres.
With like a bunch of vines. I'm like, what are you guys doing with those?
Exactly.
We
So
just
you're
looked
not
at 2
eating
today,
them.
actually.
Yeah, so this is what those people do, essentially. It's like they find wineries that are willing and able to like crush their grapes for them and then process it into wine. And this was one of them. And the deal with them was that like, hey, we would do it, but we get to keep half because it's really good. So this was a person who had their Cab Sauv, I think about a little over a decade, I want to say, either a little more or less than a decade. And they had been producing fantastic Cab Sauv. At that point, where I guess the previous ownership, they're like, we want to, maintain this partnership.
That is nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's smooth.
That is
you
really
know?
nice.
And I don't want to say that because we're 2 bottles deep, but like it's good.
I think I would say the same thing.
Yeah, no, and
first
it's
bottle.
a fantastic cab, and it's a great showcase of Vista because it was really a well done vineyard, well kept.
I love the smell.
Yeah.
And you guys in Vista, you guys produce some great fruit. So this was, I think, a nice way to finish it off with our Cab Sauv. It's a heavier red, the heaviest one we've got, but it's a silky, velvety kind of tannin.
Definitely silky.
Yeah, and easy. Even if you're not into dry reds, it's an
Even
easy
if
dry
you're
red.
not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
No,
that's
it's
it.
beautiful.
So well done, Vista. You got some solid soil. It's good.
We looked into a Petite Syrah on Albarino today too. That's pretty local over in Escondido. So hopefully
we do want to showcase. Yeah, we want to showcase local as well as ultimately the goal is to make good wine. Obviously, right? You want to make high quality wine. But if I can find those high quality grapes here, I'll get them here.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
It's worthwhile showcasing the place that brung us, right?
Yeah.
So
And this
wanna do
area was like so agriculturally based, and that's how it was founded. With the avocados and like it's always been about agriculture. And then as it's grown, it's kind of been pushed into certain parts of the city, and that sort of thing. So I think that's really awesome that you're able to bring that back as the city's developed.
So so we're gonna keep doing that, and this is just a part of it, which the previous owners started, and we'll keep it going.
I love that.
Yeah, you guys have definitely done a great job.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful wines with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for drinking it.
This is very fun.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming.
Where do people
I
find
want
you?
people to find you guys.
Oh yeah, find
all right.
I was getting to it. It just took me a while because I've been drinking a lot today. So yeah, where can people find you? Like, give location, address maybe.
I mean,
and some social media.
Yeah, we're right off of Sycamore, off the 78.
Yeah.
So
2379 La Mirada Drive in Vista.
You memorize the address. I still haven't memorized.
That's because he writes it so much on paperwork.
You're right. You got all that paperwork. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're right off of Sycamore, and we do have signs out by the street to find us. But if not, you can always find us at our Instagram or our Facebook. It's just at Grafted Cellars. Grafted with a G, not a C. It's not crafted. It is grafted. Yeah. So people get that wrong a lot, but like to graft a branch onto another branch, So that's where it comes from. Yeah. So at Grafted Cellars or at Grafted Cellars on Facebook. That's the best way to find us.
And graftedcellars.com.
Yeah, and graftedcellars.com is our
perfect.
website. Yep, easy peasy.
Yes,
Easy
get that
peasy.
membership.
I love it.
Get that membership.
No, the wine club is worth it. If you're a local, you get a lot of sweet bennies. You get 4 free tasting flights a month. You get a lot of discounts off
I
bottles
just heard
and
free, and then I was just like, of course I'm.
No, and the flights is a great way to discover new wines. Wines you wouldn't necessarily choose if you have to order by the glass, and that's why I like the flights where it's like, dude, I wouldn't choose any of these, but. The flights is a fun way. Let's try different ones, and you'd be surprised at what you
And we do change them up pretty regularly.
Change them up monthly.
Oh, okay, good.
Also, shout out to your sangria.
Oh, we got sangria on tap, boys and girls.
Yes.
You want that sangria?
That's my last
got it.
word of I don't know. My last
we got
thing
red,
of the
we got
day.
white. We make it from scratch. It changes
It's
awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's
good.
great. Definitely
Yeah.
go get in fills of those.
Yeah.
Weekends.
Take them by the growler.
Yeah.
We've got it. You want it, we got it.
Fantastic.
That's all about.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming
Paige, thank
and
you.
talking about like all the wines and how you guys kind of came together and did this whole thing together. I love this.
Yeah, you know too much now.
Absolutely.
No, it's what we can share.
Yeah.
For sure.
People love feeling that connection to businesses that they support.
Really do. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
So now
Getting that
not
message out is
only
awesome.
are people who go to you guys, now they get to hear on the podcast like how you guys got started, how this union
Your drinking
became.
story.
Yeah.
The courting,
Yeah.
courtship.
They're going to come in with knowledge about you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna come in
Connected.
asking me personal
Right.
questions. Like, oh, how do you know all that?
Right,
Oh, that's
exactly.
Right. The
Yeah, but that's what brings it together though.
For sure.
Because when people know a little personal piece about you, they feel like they know you at that point, and now they want to have that connection more with you. So now I'm coming only to Grafted because I need to know, like,
Oh, dang.
you know, all of these particular things. How is the house coming? What do your living room looks like? You know, like all of these type of things.
It's
So,
a work
yeah.
in progress.
Right.
There's always
Just
a
so
work
you
in
know.
progress.
Always.
Still
Yeah.
seeking that perfect rug to tie the room together.
Yeah.
I have not found it, but that's okay.
It's out there.
It's out there.
It's
It
out
is.
there. I
Begging to be
It
purchased.
is. I might know a rug guy. Just hit me up after this. I might know a rug guy.
Want to do a final cheers?
Yeah. So.
Final cheers. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
being
thank
here.
you so
Natasha,
much.
thank you
Yeah.
so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you
You're
guys.
welcome. And that is to all our advanced drinkers. You already know what to do after this. Thank you, and Odd Parent is signing out. Let me see it again. Boom. I'm keeping that part in there.
Okay, we're done.
Thank you guys.
You guys,
Yeah,
my
thank you. That was
goodness.
very fun.
Thanks for listening and watching Odd Pairing. So please subscribe, like,
Rate and comment with your favorite drinking stories and curiosities about adult beverages.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm going to happy hour. Who's driving?
I'm gonna walk.